And it is time to get started. Hey, welcome to AtTheTrack.live. I am Coach James. I am the creator and lead instructor for All About Aerodynamics. What is All About Aerodynamics, you ask? Glad you asked, even if you didn't ask. All About Aerodynamics is a science program where I use Hot Wheels cars to teach kindergarten through 6th grade students about a range of science and physics-related topics, including but not limited to friction, force, aerodynamics, drag, lift, Isaac Newton and his 3 laws of motion, kinetic energy, potential energy, elastic force, a whole range of topics. After we have covered all the science and conducted experiments to drive home those concepts, then and only then do I bring in about 400 different Hot Wheels cars, and each student has the opportunity to select a Hot Wheels car they think would be fastest in a series of races based on everything that they have learned in the course. Then, once they have selected their cars, they weigh their cars, they check the speed of their cars, they check the year the car was manufactured, the materials the car is made from, and all of the information they can observe, they document that, and then all that's left to do is take the cars to the track. So they set up a 1/64th scale quarter-mile drag strip, and we race the cars, have a little tournament, and they observe how their cars perform. Did their cars perform up to or below their expectations? And if they had the opportunity, would they select that same car again, or would they make a different choice based on everything they've learned in the class? At the end of the day, we have fun with Hot Wheels cars, and we learn science. What could be better? If you would like more information about our science program, All About Aerodynamics, all you have to do is go to our website, aaerodynamics.com, or you can follow us on Instagram, AA Aerodynamics, and all of the information you need is in the bio, and I can tell you how we can bring our program to your school or your organization or your special event. But this is not All About Aerodynamics. This is All About Aerodynamics presents At the Track Live. So what is that? Well, before I can bring in those cards for the students to use, I have to make sure that I have them organized and cataloged and numbered, and once I've done that, then the cars are ready to go. But doing that takes a while, and I have to go into storage where I have hundreds of cars that have not been opened, pull out some cars, crack those open. I have to get a little picture, I have to get a video, and then I have to assign the car a number, put it in the spreadsheet, then it's ready to go. But that was boring and something I wasn't looking forward to do, so I was trying to figure out a way how to make that a little more interesting of a process, and came up with AtTheTrack.live. And with AtTheTrack.live, I go into storage, I get the cars, crack those open, do a little review, get my picture, get my video, and then since the track is already set up, might as well see which of the new cars is the fastest. So we have a little mini tournament every week to see which of the new cars is our fastest, and that is what AtTheTrack.live is all about. Racing Hot Wheels cars, reviewing Hot Wheels cars. But wait, there's more. You have the opportunity to participate. All you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live. And when you do that, you're going to have 3 options. One's the YouTube stream link, one's the Twitch stream link. Don't worry about those because you're already here. But the third link is the most important link. That is the one that says choose your car. If you go to that link, you will be taken to this page, and on this page you will see all of the cars that are currently in the All About Aerodynamics AtTheTrack.live fleet. They are numbered, there are pictures, they are all ready for you to select. So all you have to do is go through and find the car you think would be faster than the cars that I've introduced and that other people have picked. And all you have to do is take the number of that car, Let's go to car number 341. So let's say you're scrolling through, you're looking at all these cars. We have fantasy cars, we have cars designed after real cars, we have tuned cars, we have character cars, the whole, like, trucks, SUVs, old school cars, lowriders, hypercars, supercars, whatever it is, whatever kind of car it is, we have it. And if we don't have the specific car you're looking for, we probably have something very similar. Let's go down. What did I say? 341? Sure, let's go with 341. This 2011 Camaro, you can click on that. You can see that this car appears to be a metal body on a plastic base. Sometimes we have the reverse of a plastic body on a metal base. And in some cases of our old school cars, they are metal on metal. And usually the metal on metal is kind of look at that as like detrimental, that's gonna hurt the car's chances to win in the race. But last week we had a all metal Lamborghini that was the winner of our tournament, and it weighed about 54 grams, which is roughly 20 grams heavier than most of the cars that we race. And you know what? It didn't matter. That car was fast. The aerodynamic profile was on point, and it was our champion car. It was the fastest car. So if you scroll through, there are so many different types of cars. All you have to do is find the one that you think will be faster than the ones that I introduced today, and we will enter you into the tournament. You just take the number of the car and drop it into the chat, and I will pull that car, and that's that. That is how it works. Now, if your car beats out all of the other cars that are chosen and selected, you will get to take on our fastest in fleet car for the title, which is fastest in fleet is the champion car, if you want to look at it that way. It is the fastest car in the fleet. It's the car that won the tournament the week before. And in the case of our current fastest in fleet car, it's been winning the tournament for the last about 5 or 6 weeks now. So that is the car you will have the opportunity to go up against. And we're going to take a look at that car in just a moment. But I stopped here on the car selection page because you notice the difference between car number 450, the roller toaster, this one, and car number 451, which is the muscle and blown. Excuse me. Well, you see the backgrounds are different. The muscle and blown has the blue background and the roller toaster has the black background. Well, the muscle and blown, car number 451, was the first car when we started At The Track Live. So I had 450 cars cataloged, and then when I decided to start At The Track Live, we started with car number 451. So every car from 451 to our current, most recent car, these cars have all raced on the track during an episode of At The Track Live. And hey, Christopher, how you doing? So all of these cars have raced. All these cars with the blue background. Sometimes there's a silver background, just to show contrast. But all of these cars, from car number 451 all the way through to, we are up to 995, all of these cars have raced in At The Track Live. So, does that mean that all of these cars have obviously lost at some point? But we've had, in the last couple of months, we had a lot of turnover as far as our fastest in fleet car. And what's been good about that is it gives these cars an opportunity to get back in the mix, because just because one of these cars lost, like let's say this 2010 Chevy Impala, it lost a race at some point, but maybe it was just a bad matchup. And now that we have a new fastest in fleet car, maybe some of these other cars, like the Eruption, this is a car that I really thought was going to do better than it did. There's another one, the Aerodynamic, that I also thought was going to perform better. But there's a lot of factors that kind of come into play in terms of the size of the car, the aerodynamic profile, the weight, the width, there's a lot of factors that go into what makes one car faster than the other. But that's the whole fun of racing these cars, is that we get to make these different selections and find out which cars are in fact going to be faster than the others, and then trying to figure out why that is. This one is still the one that confuses me the most, the Dogfighter. The Dogfighter was absolutely the strangest, most out-of-the-box pick, never-ending pick, this car, and it went against all the rules. The aerodynamic profile, yes, there's a plane component to it, but the back end, we almost always, when you look at the cars that have won, the cars that do well, they usually have a lot of surface area touching the launching block in the back. But the Dogfighter only had that one kind of point at the rear end of the plane / car that was touching, and this car ended up being faster than just about, it beat out the Blitz Speeder. I believe this was the one. And that was something that we didn't expect. It went on, won a few more races, and then it was beaten, and then we just started this period of having lots of different cars in position to win. So, bottom line is, just because a car is in this blue, with this blue background, does not mean that it can't compete now, because we have a new fastest in fleet champion, and our new fastest in fleet champion, or latest fastest in fleet champion, is this car. It is the RD09. It has been about 5 or 6 weeks it's been the champion, and it's another car that sort of defies the conventional wisdom of what we usually see as far as cars doing well. And I'm talking specifically about the back end of this car, because it's just got these two pointed wings, and they kind of straddle the launching block. And on our launcher, you can see we have these square blocks. These are what the cars line up against, and these, when they're released, are what push the cars out of the launcher. And so typically, you want a lot of surface area pressing against the launching block, because that, it's not a guarantee, but it's more likely that you will get a clean push out of the launcher. And getting a good solid launch usually ensures that the car stays straight on the track, and staying straight reduces the opportunity for friction to come into play, more friction from the car bouncing from side to side and the wheels scraping up against the side of the track. This car does not have a lot of surface area, but for whatever reason, it gets very good, clean, consistent launches. We've put it in the wind tunnel, which we do every Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Twitch and Instagram and YouTube. And we've put this car in the wind tunnel, and we've seen that the aerodynamic profile is outstanding. It looks and resembles a lot of the cars that have done well on the track in the past, in that the windshield, that transition between the hood and the windshield is very minimal, very smooth. And unlike a traditional car, you just kind of move from the hood to the windshield to the roof line and then off the back of the car. And when we put the car in the wind tunnel, we see exactly that. That airflow follows the lines of the body of the car, and there isn't a lot of turbulence or anything to really disrupt that airflow. When that airflow gets disrupted, we have changes in pressure which work against the forward momentum of the car. And this car, much like the Blitz Speeder, like the Gazella, like the Slide Kick, doesn't really have anything to impede that airflow, and it has beaten out every car that it has faced. And we're going to find out today if this car is going to remain champion, or if we are going to have a brand new fastest in fleet car at the end of the day. Hey, Roughshod. Oh, hi, Mom. So yeah, we're going to find out, because today we are going to introduce our 1000th car. It has been a long time coming. Like I said, we started at 451. So here we are at our 1000th car. That's going to be coming in today. We're up to 995. And so the 1000th car, I was trying to figure out which car it would be. I wanted it to be kind of unique and kind of special. The last time we really did something like this was the 500th car, which doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but that was the what do you call it? Oh no, it was the Bubba Wallace, that Black Lives Matter NASCAR. And so that's interesting because that's the only car in the whole fleet that is not a Hot Wheels car, and it is not a or a Matchbox car. It is, I forget who makes those. Christopher, I think you have a collection of those. Who makes those, the NASCAR series cars? I want to say, I'm not even going to guess because I don't know. But anyway, that was the last time that I was trying to find a unique car. But now I found one. So we'll have our 1000 car in the mix. If you want to select a car and also get in, Christopher and Roughshod have already made their selections. They've had their cars in the wind tunnel, and we know that they are going to be trying to knock out the RD09. Another car that we are going to have returning to the track is this one. It is the Lionel. Thank you, Christopher. Lionel makes those NASCARs. We've got this one, the Rockin Santa Sled. So last week, we pulled it out because it was obviously Christmas season, and I hope everybody had a nice Christmas. The Rockin Santa Sled had tabs on the back wheel that actually made the Santa Claus figure rock back and forth. That's the name, the Rockin Santa Sled. The problem is, just like we showed off with the this one, the Rockin Railer, and this is one that I left the tabs on, every time those tabs came around and hit the little Santa figure, it worked like one of those carnival prize wheels that has the little tick, 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 tick. And every time that tab hits the Santa, it slows down the forward momentum of the wheel. So cars with tabs on the wheels can't compete. So I just decided that usually I don't modify the cars, but in the case of cars with tabs, tabs are gone. So we cut the tabs off of the Rockin Santa Sled and put it on the track in a kind of special exhibition match because it went up against this Grogu car, which also had tabs that got cut off. So I cut off the Grogu tabs, and the Grogu car was still the absolute slowest car we've ever had on the track. It barely crossed the finish line, and that's without the tabs. So this Rockin Santa Sled destroyed the Grogu car, no problem. But then we got caught up in, and we just started racing the other cars, and I forgot to bring the Rockin Santa Sled back to see if it could compete. So today, fresh off of Christmas deliveries, the Rockin Santa Sled is going to be hitting the track. No tabs, no restrictions. It is going to be in the mix. So the Rockin Santa Sled, we're going to see what it can do. And let's check out the other cars that are going to be a part of today's races. Now, so let's see here. There's another manufacturer for NASCAR called Winner's Circle. Okay. Yeah, I haven't, I look at the NASCAR cars and they're pretty much all similar. It's kind of like with the F1 cars. They're, the design restrictions are there, so most of the cars are similar. So usually, if I pick one up, it's only because I like the design on the car. But speaking of cars that I don't normally pick up, I got this one. I'm not sure who this Racing Champions Mint. And I picked this up because it's the John Force Peak Performance Chevy Camaro SS NHRA funny car. And John Force, if you've never watched drag racing, NHRA funny car racing, he's sort of the like the Michael Jordan of funny car racing, and he recently retired. And his daughter races, and she's broken all kinds of records. But anyway, the one NHRA event that I went to, he was actually racing, and I saw this car, and so I saw it in the store, and I picked it up, and I was trying to see, because I wasn't familiar with this brand, and I saw some of the other cars, but what I couldn't tell if these were rubber wheels or not. And so I bought it, and I'm going to crack it open, and we're going to see. Hopefully they're not rubber wheels, but there wasn't any description on here that said whether or not they were. You know how the Hot Wheels, if it's they call them Real Ride, it'll have the little decal or the little logo that says that they're rubber wheels. This one, I don't know, so I'm going to crack this open and take a look. The cars they're good-looking cars. And we actually have a Hot Wheels NHRA Mustang, or I'm sorry, NHRA Camaro funny car, and it didn't do well. We haven't had funny cars do well on the track, but I'm going to crack this open, and we're going to see if it has rubber wheels or not. So it may end up just being a collectible. Yeah, Target. That's where I got it. Uh-oh. Looks like the wheels are plastic. So now, okay, so they're plastic wheels. You get the little funny car. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at this one. Well, first things first, let's see if it fits in the launcher, because if it fits in the launcher, which it does, it can race. So turns out we have our first car of the day. And let's see what it weighs. It feels heavy. But as we learned last week, just because a car is heavy doesn't mean it can't compete. This one's 54.2 grams. So it is up there with the Lamborghini from last week. And we're going to see. Let's switch over here, take a closer look at this one. This is the John Force, the 2024 John Force Peak Performance, and I pulled that out, Camaro SS NHRA funny car. We will list this as the John Force funny car. It's so long, let me back out a little bit, get it all in. Alright, there we go. Go ahead and take a look. Yeah, this is... We're going to see what happens with this one, because this is a lot of... It's kind of interesting, because this is obviously a real car that travels at extremely high rates of speed. But for whatever reason, on our track, the funny cars have not done well. But those have been mostly... Well, not mostly, all the Hot Wheels funny cars. This is going to be the first time we have one of these. I have to double check who even makes this, but I am happy that there are plastic wheels. So I can go back and check for some of these other cars and and see. So aerodynamically, it's solid. I'm worried about the weight and also the tires. Those are concerning. Not the ones in the back, but I'll show you here. The ones in the front. So we've got the little disc wheels, and we already know that we've had a couple of cars with the disc wheels that have done well. These seem to be smaller than those when I have compared them. Let me open this up so you can kind of see it. The detail that this brand kind of puts into it. They've got all the. Let me get the. Let's move in a little closer. Let me switch over to the camera view. Since I've got to take this picture anyway. Oh, let's get some more light on this car. There we go. All the logos, kind of like the NASCAR series of cars, they get all the logos and details correct. I'm trying to see who makes this. Racing Champions Mint. And I don't know if there's Round 2 Corporation. Never heard of them, but yeah, they have these in. They're in Target, and there's some good-looking cars. But now that I know that they have plastic wheels, I am going to go back and take a closer look, and maybe pick some more of these up. So let me get the still picture. But when we look at the tires, it's got the funny car set up with the huge racing slicks in the back. And then these little disc wheels. So maybe the disc wheels look smaller because everything else about this car is so big. But I'm pretty sure, well, actually, we don't know. They're definitely smaller because there's that car. And there's the Rockin' Railer. And you can kind of see, once I throw it in focus, you can see right there that the disc wheels on the Rockin' Railer are much bigger than the disc wheels at the front of the funny car. So I don't know how that's all gonna play out, because that Lamborghini it was heavy, but it didn't have disc wheels. It had all regular standard Hot Wheels wheels. So will that make a difference? It's also the funny car, it's got this wheelie bar at the back, but fortunately, the wing at the back sticks out a lot further than that, so the wheelie bar won't come into play. The wheelie bar is one other modification that we've made in the past on some cars, cutting that off. I'm going to throw in the silver background just to get a little contrast when I take this picture. But yeah, the wheelie bar is one other thing that I have used, or I have a modification that I've made to cars in the past, because it really doesn't help on our track. It's more likely that a car with a wheelie bar is going to get a bad launch and crash. All right, let's go here. Check out the John Force funny car. John Force recently retired. He was involved. It was a horrible crash, and he was in the hospital for some time. And then once he recovered, he just decided to retire. But he had been again the Michael Jordan of NHRA funny car racing. But his daughter is kind of his equal as far as breaking records and what she's done on the track. So all right, we have unexpectedly the Round 2 Corporation Racing Champions Mint car, the very heavy John Force funny car. So that is car number 996, and that's kind of unexpected. I wasn't thinking we were going to have because I couldn't tell from the packaging. I just assumed that this car, being kind of a premium type car, was going to have rubber wheels, but it does not, and I am glad that it doesn't. Yeah, I saw Michael Jordan. Yeah, I know he's involved in NASCAR. I saw he just had just settled a big lawsuit with NASCAR, and had something to do with the teams and the revenue and something like that. But yeah. All right, so we've got the John Force funny car. Let's see if this brand has anything written on the bottom. They do not. Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see. What do we have next? So that was unexpected. I stopped by the Mattel store, which is the factory store at the bottom of the Mattel building over in El Segundo. And I went in there on the 23rd, which was the last day that they were going to be open. And because obviously it was Christmas, people had kind of rushed in there. The shelves were pretty empty, but there were Hot Wheels, and I looked through, and they had some 2026 edition Hot Wheels that I wasn't expecting to see, and that I didn't have and haven't seen in the store yet. So I picked up a few, and instead of going into the storage and pulling those cars out like I'm supposed to be doing, figured we just throw in some of these. So the first one is this Pagani Zonda Cinque. And Cinque? Cinque, C-I-N-Q-U-E. I don't know. Let's see what it says on the back. Pagani Zonda Cinque, whatever. Born 2009 in Italy, designer Pagani. The Zonda Cinque Coupe was a special edition with only 5 models made. Now you can shift gears and enjoy the ride in our tuned up version that's ready to race across the finish line. So yeah, so this is obviously the tuned version, so it's kind of a little more cartoony and compact. But we're gonna see how it performs on the track. I know we have a Pagani Zonda R and maybe some other Paganis in the fleet. But we definitely don't have this one, and don't have it as a tuned version. So we're going from the extremely large funny car to this little miniature Pagani Zonda. So let's crack this open and take a look. All right, so this one is kind of funny because it's got little miniature Hot Wheels wheels. So this one weighs in at 24.5 grams, which is less than half of what the funny car weighs. Let's get this on here. And let's take a look. The Pagani Zonda Cinque. Either way, I'll have to figure out how to pronounce the name if it wins in today's tournament. But let me go ahead and get the still picture first. And so yeah, this is interesting because the wheels, the front wheels especially, are smaller than standard Hot Wheels wheels. But they are not they're not disc wheels or anything like that. They're just smaller versions of the regular Hot Wheels wheels. And let's go ahead and get this wrong way. Still the wrong way. There we go. And let's get this video. And this car at 24 grams, that's extremely light. And I'm trying to think of, see if I can remember what's the lightest car that we've had do well. Usually, excuse me, if you've been watching these races, you know that light cars, drag tends to get those cars toward the back end of the track. They just start to slow down. And ultimately, the cars are light. They've got to push through that air. And if they have a really good aerodynamic profile, then they can kind of mitigate the impact of that drag. But usually, it's not even a surprise anymore. Heavy cars, light cars, toward the back end of the track, we see them start to slow down. That last third of the track, they start to slow down. The other cars passed him, and then the illusion is that the other car is speeding up. But when really what's happening is the one car is slowing down at a faster rate, so it makes the other car look like it's gaining speed. But this one's interesting because if it was the regular standard kind of stretched out Pagani Zonda, then it would be really a no-brainer to say that this car has got a good shot at winning today's tournament and beating out and maybe competing to be the fastest in fleet car. But with this tuned version, especially with this huge windshield here, when we put this in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, we're going to see that air hit this thing, and then what it does after that is anybody's guess, but that is likely to work against this car. And one of the reasons, so it's really light, but now it's got this huge frontal area, this windshield, that the air is going to build up against until it goes over, under, or not, over or around. And I think that that is probably going to slow this car down. So I would look for this car to get off to a good start, and then somewhere halfway down the track to just slow down and get beaten out, possibly. But that's why we race the cars, because we have been surprised many times with cars that kind of dismissed, didn't think much of, and they turned out to be winners and fast cars on our track. So we'll see if the Pagani Zonda Cinque can live up to that hype, and we will see. And on the Pagani front, Christopher's saying there's also there's the Huayra, one roof, and one and the Roadster version. Okay. So Pagani is represented, and we've got one more Pagani representative now with the Pagani Zonda Cinque, one of those two. Let's see what year is on here. It should be 2025. It is 2025. All right. Keeping that info in, we are now moving on to car number 978. It is time as we inch closer to our 1,000th car. Let's see. 998 is going to be, well, we have two, let's see, there's two choices. I picked two up, and you know what? We're going to go ahead and go with, we're going to go a little bigger. All right, so I picked this one up. The Bouncin' Bass, little lowrider pickup truck. Nice gold metal flake paint job. Let's see what it says on the back. Bouncin' Bass, born 2025 in El Segundo, California. Designer Hot Wheels. Turn up the volume, light up the night, and get the party started with this lowrider. Inspired by 80s style trucks, it boasts boxy proportions, sleek character lines, booming speakers, and ground-hugging low clearance. Laying low. So it's part of their lowrider series. And let's go ahead and crack this open and take a closer look. All right, wait. What does this car weigh? 37.9. So all we've had today are cars that are outside of what we consider the sweet spot for the cars, which is usually 32 grams to 36 grams, right in that range. But we've had the John Forth Funny Car, which is 54 grams, huge. We've had the Pagani Zonda Cinque, which is 24.5 grams, so much. So we've only had cars on the extreme. This one is 37-ish grams, and more in line with what we're used to seeing. So 1 gram, 1.5 grams outside of our sweet spot is not a problem, especially considering the cars that it may be going up against. So let's get this one as it comes around. This it's kind of Lakers edition, this purple and gold lowrider truck. It's interesting with the pickups because we had the Draftnator, and the Draftnator did very well. And we've had a few pickup trucks. There was one just recently, I think Roughshod may have picked. It was that black. It was a black pickup with some orange accents. I don't remember if it was just in the wind tunnel or if it actually raced, but we've had a few pickup trucks. Now the difference is some of them have the bed of the truck is covered, and this one has speaker boxes in there, and so the bed is partially covered, and then it's got that back part that's open. It's a lowrider, and it looks like it kind of flares out at the back a little bit. I might need to check and make sure that it is that it will fit in the launcher. I'm not a big fan of the wheels being tucked underneath the body. I kind of like it when the wheels are flush with the body, but hey, this is not bad. I think aerodynamically, I think when we put it in the wind tunnel, it won't be the most aerodynamically sound car that it won't have the best profile, but I don't think it's too bad. I think the front end will be fine. I think the air would just kind of build up here, pass over. I think it'd make it up to the roof. But then what happens here, where, as the air kind of just tails off, again, when there's turbulent air, when the air is breaking away from following along the lines of the body of the car, then you get changes in air pressure. You get areas of lower pressure versus the high pressure at the front, and that creates this pressure drag that just works against the forward momentum of the car. So we're going to see how that kind of plays out, and we will get our still picture here of this bouncing base. Let me turn it just a bit. And the bouncing base is car number 998. I didn't put it in. It is the bounce in base. All right, the bouncing base. We are going, let me check to see. Make sure that it fits in the, launcher. It does. So it will be racing, and it's just flat on the bottom. Some of these, that's another thing with Hot Wheels. Sometimes there is absolutely nothing on the bottom, just completely flat. And then other times they, put a little transmission situation or something happening down there. But it's why in the wind tunnel, I don't worry about the fact that we can't really, that the wheel stands prevent us from seeing how the air is flowing under the cars, because almost all of these Hot Wheels cars are just flat on the bottom. So in that regard, they're all pretty much equal. It's what's happening up top that is going to make the real difference when they're racing on the track. So, all right, we are just 2 cars away. And let me check the year. Should be 2025. Yep. 2025 on the bouncing base. We are at car number 999. And for this one, we're going back. We're going small. And when I was looking for the car that was going to be the 1,000th car, I was in this bin that I have that just has mostly a lot of character cars, a lot of premium cars, things like that. And I came across this one, which I don't remember buying, and I'm not sure why it wasn't already in the fleet. But this one, the Jurassic Park, or I'm sorry, Jurassic World Velociraptor Beta. And I'm going to check just to make sure that we don't already have one of these. Because these Jurassic Park cars, there's a whole series, and I think of these, most of them are kind of big trucks, except for the other Velociraptor car, which we may have. We have a Velociracer and a Velocita. Let's take a look at 449 and just see if it is, in fact, a dinosaur-themed car. 449. The Velociracer. Oh, no, the Velociracer is that brown. It's that tan dinosaur car. I know which one that is. 440. Because it just got picked. I think Roughshod picked it. 449. Yeah, that's this one, the Velociracer. I thought we had one of these Jurassic Park cars. Let me look under J. Yep. Oh, no. We just have the Jurassic Park Jeep, which was one of the ID cars. So, okay. So this one we don't have. So, great. Even better. All right. We have now car number 999 in our fleet. The Velociraptor Beta. Let's crack this open. Okay, the weight on this car kind of reminds me of the little bit of the Mario Kart, but even smaller. This car weighs 28.4 grams, so it still is heavier than the Pagani Cinque, but it is our newest entrant into the fleet. And let me get it in focus. And there it is. It is a little dinosaur-themed go-kart. And it is all metal, other than the black, like the seat is plastic, but all of that sort of grayish, the gray part is metal. And so this one has a little bit more weight. At 28 grams, a little bit more than the Pagani, but not a lot more. Let's go ahead and get this still picture of the Velociraptor Beta car. All right, got that. And now, go ahead and switch over to grab the video. And here we go. All right. We are looking at the Velociraptor Beta. I see the little dinosaur theme going on. But let's get it in here. It's going to be an interesting race day because hang on. Velociraptor Beta. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because so far we really only have cars on the extreme ends. We have two that are very light, and I guess it would help if I actually started press the record button. That might be useful to get a video. But we have two cars that are at the extreme light end, so a 24 gram and a 28 gram. Or a 28 gram car and a 24 gram car. Then we have the funny car, 54 grams. But then we have the bounce and base, which is like 37 grams. So the bounce and base right now is kind of best positioned. Well, then there's the Rockin Santa Sled, which we don't know how that's going to turn out with the Santa flopping around and all that. So I would think right now, if I had to just pick from the cars we have, I'm not sure about this one, but the fact that this Velociraptor car is metal, it's probably, I like that more so than the Pagani, especially because the Pagani has that huge windshield. This one I think has a shot, but I think because of the weight, it's going to slow down at the back end. Of the cars right now, I think I would pick the bouncing base. I'd pick the truck. And if you would like to pick a car, all you have to do is go to AtTheTrack.live, select the choose your car option, scroll through, find the car you want, and just put the number into the chat, and I will pull the car, and you will be entered in with the John Force Peak Funny car, with the Rockin Santa Sled, with the Pagani Cinque, and the bouncing bass, and this Velociraptor Beta car. This one has, so at the back end, see, it's got the little tailpipe sticking out just beyond the wing. So that means that is going to be the only part of this car that touches the launching block, and it's not centered. It's a little bit off to the right, which means that this car could get any kind of push. So one, it's light, and it's going to get a push that we're not too sure about. It's got the wider wheels at the back, some decent small wheels at the front. At least they didn't put little disc wheels on it. So this one will be interesting. I think it'll do well, but one, I'm not sure what kind of launch it's going to get, and two, is it, because of the weight, going to slow down at the back end of the track? That is what I'm expecting. But there's been other races and other times where I've expected a certain outcome, and that is not what happened at all. So let's see. On the bottom of this, it says Jurassic World Dominion Beta car, but we'll just keep it with the Velociraptor Beta. This is 2020 for the year. And get that in there. All right, so we have our latest car entered into the fleet, car number 999. And now it is time to introduce the 1000th car in the All About Aerodynamics at the Track Live fleet. I was looking around. The goal was to try and find a car that was unique, but also try to find a car that I think could actually compete and possibly become our fastest in fleet car, or at least win the tournament. And so that kind of ruled out a lot of the old school cars. I have a lot of 80s, 70s, 80s cars from when I was a kid, but those cars tend to be metal on metal, and as we've already discussed, heavier cars, other than that Lamborghini, heavier cars tend not to do well on the track. They're just too heavy. Both cars are getting the same amount of force from the launcher being pushed out, and a heavier car would need more force to go as fast and further than a lighter car on our track, because it's a flat drag track. So I had to find a car that would live up to that. So then I was thinking about the ID cars, and the ID cars are premium cars with plastic wheels, so that's always great. And there's some great designs, and I have a bunch of those, but I was looking through there, and that's where I thought I was going to go. And then I started looking through and digging through the crate that I have that has all these different character cars and premium cars and whatever, and I was kind of sorting through, and I came across the car that was absolutely going to be our 1000th car, because if it's going to be the 1000th car, I want it to be unique. It checks off that box. I wanted it to be potentially fast, and I think it has it's going to potentially be fast. But there was a sign. If I wanted it to be fast, how could I go wrong with the Flash? So our 1000th car is this DC Hot Wheels character car, the Flash. I mean, come on. It's all right there. It's all right there. The last time I went with like the Vision was when I picked up that aerodynamic car, And I was like, it's aerodynamic. It's small. It's aerodynamic. The name is there. The name is here. And I thought that car was going to be do something. It didn't. But I have higher hopes for the Flash, our 1000th car. Let's go ahead and crack this open and take a look. On the back, there's some of the other cars that are in here. And I believe the Selena Kyle car we've introduced. There's another Batmobile, which kind of looks like the one from that last Batman movie, which we definitely have in there. But this may be a little different. The Superman car, I feel like that one's in here. I think we have that one. And this Wonder Woman car, I think I do have a Wonder Woman car, but it's not this one. So, but we do have the Flash. The Riddler truck is not going to make the cut. The Flash is where it's at. All right, let's crack this open and take a look. Flash car is metal on plastic, and the weight is 36 grams. So we've got 36 grams for the Flash car. And just to double check, make sure that it will fit into the launcher. Oh, it will. So let's take a look at car number 1000, the All About Aerodynamics At the Track Live 1000th car in the fleet is this one. It is the Flash. And let's go ahead, take a look now. With the Flash car, you can see, obviously, one of the reasons I'm thinking it's going to do well is because there's nothing up top. This has got that whole slide kick, Formula Solar, Blitz Speeder, Gazella R, that whole flat top right there. There are some openings here, right about here, that concern me a little bit because I'm not sure if air will enter that area, or if the plastic is kind of pushed up right against the metal, so it won't matter at all. The back end. Now the back end, I was thinking, okay, I want more of a surface area across the back pressed up against that launching block. But because of the success of the RD09, I am not as worried about the back end of this car. And I think it's the points on the back end of this car are a little more narrow than the ones on the RD09. So this one should actually, I would think, get a better launch because the 2 points on the back of the car aren't going to be straddling the launching block. This car is a little unique because it's more narrow, it's wider at the front than it is at the back. Usually we see that in reverse, with the cars being wider at the back end and more narrow at the front. So this kind of reverses that trend. Standard Hot Wheels wheels, it looks like the rear wheels are a little bigger. But yeah, I think aerodynamically, this car, when we put this in the wind tunnel, that air should just flow right over the top of this thing. I don't think drag should really be, it should be able to minimize the impact of drag. And any car that can do that on our track is a car that is going to be in line to do well. And I see the little warning on the side, caution, way too hot, watch yourself. It's got the little Flash logos on there, the yellow and the red, matching the costume. I think this is the car. So that is why I picked it, because I think that this is going to be the special car that should do well on the track. We're gonna see. You never really know, which is the fun and the reason to race these cars. And We're going to find out pretty soon. Let me switch over to the photos. Zoom on in. And we have our 1,000th car. It is the Flash. And let me check the year on this one. It is not listed. No problem. I can look that up. Make sure. DC Comics. Thailand. Nope. It's not on there. But this is it. The Flash car. The Flash car is our 1,000th car. And we now have our Flash car. We have the John Force funny car. We have the Rockin Santa Sled. Jump back over here. We have the Rockin Santa Sled, the John Force funny car, the Pagani Zonda Cinque. We have the Bouncing Bass, the Velociraptor Beta, and we have the Flash, our 1,000th car. So Christopher and Roughshod have some picks, so I'm going to go grab those cars. You still have a little bit of time. If you want to go to AtTheTrack.live, go to select the Choose Your Car link, and then find the car that you want. Take that number, drop it in the chat, and I will pull that car. But I'm going to go and pull these two cars, Roughshod and Christopher, because I had them out and then I put them up and whatever. But anyway, I'm going to go grab those. The timer's going to say 5 minutes. It's not going to take 5 minutes. I will be back momentarily. Flush it. I am just double checking. Okay. All right. So if I have gotten all my notes correctly written down, then let's check out Christopher's pick, which is this Dodge Viper SRT 10 ACR. Let's check the weight on this one. And it is weighing in at 39 grams. So it's interesting. We still don't have any car today that is, well, wait, what did I forgot. I just did it. Forgot what the Flash car weighed. Okay, so the Flash car is 35.9 grams. So that is right at our, the top end of our sweet spot. But now we've got You've got this one, this Dodge Viper. This is a great looking car. I mentioned that on Wednesday. I like when they do, like the effect that they do on the headlights to actually kind of make them look a little three-dimensional. The nice, that burgundy metal flake paint with the black and white and yellow accents. The only thing I don't like, this car is a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing, 9.9. The only thing I don't like is that these sidewalls, it's got the yellow walls, and the back it's got the white walls. I think make a choice, either all white or all yellow. Other than that, that's the only little minor knock I have with this car. But let's talk about what we expect on the track. So it's got the wing right at the roof line, which is something that we've seen with cars that have done well. It's a slight curve to it, which may or may not impact the launch that it gets. The back end is pretty flat, so it should have a lot of surface area pressed up against the car. Aerodynamically speaking, didn't find any real problems or issues. It looks like there are vents here, but that's just the decals. There is no opening, so the air is not going to be traveling through there and getting inside the body of the car. Interesting, sort of the reverse. This is more traditional. This car is wider at the front and gets a little more narrow. Wider at the back and gets a little more narrow at the front. It's not extreme. We've seen some other cars that have much more extreme changes, but just something to to note. But this is the Dodge Viper, and we will see. I kind of like this car's chances. So before, when I'd picked the bounce and base, that was based on the cars that had been introduced to that point. But this seems like a very solid pick. And would I be surprised if this car ends up in the finals? Probably not. I can see this car and the Flash car possibly being in the finals, but we don't know what some of those smaller cars are actually going to do. So this is Christopher's pick, the Dodge Viper. We've got that here. All right, and then we are going to check out Roughshod's pick, which I believe this is the one he picked, which is this Ferrari 365 GTB. Let's see what it weighs. Drop in here. It is coming in at 42.5 grams, which is not light. Ordinarily, we would say that's heavy. But when we've got a 54-gram car in the mix, 42 is not that bad. So this car is metal on metal. It is Ferrari. Even though it is a Ferrari, kind of gives me, it's kind of got those kind of Porsche vibes to it. But this is definitely, I think, if it wasn't so heavy, I think I would have, okay, you know what? There we go. You did pick that. So that's the one I put back. I knew that this morning when I was trying to clean up and get organized, I put one of the cars away, and I was thinking like, all right, did I just put away the right one? And it is the Range Rover Velar 229. Let me grab that. You can look at the Ferrari. Go grab that Range Rover. Okay, here we go. Now we've got it all. We got it straightened out. All right, Ferrari. Heavy Ferrari gets to go back somewhere else. Oh, let's weigh the Range Rover, because now this one feels light. I think 33 grams. 34. Okay, here we go. This one, that is the one that he selected, the Range Rover Velar, and it is this is going to be interesting because it's got a lot of frontal area, and I believe when we put this in the wind tunnel, that wind was coming off that front, it was hitting the front, and then it was kind of just flowing up and over. This is, I'm trying to think if we have seen an SUV style car, truck do well on the track, but I don't know that many have been picked. That Viper it's metal on plastic. It is metal on plastic. So this the Range Rover. Now, as far as like the way it looks, I love that they put the little details on the back. Got the Range Rover, have the Land Rover logo, the Hot Wheels, everything is in place. But the question is, how's it going to perform on the track? Because that's all we really care about. I mean, it's cool to have a car that looks good, but looks good and it's fast on the track. That is absolutely the best. So this is what we've got. We've got the Range Rover Velar. We have the Dodge Viper. We have the John Force funny car. We have the Rockin Santa Sled. The Pagani Zonda Cinque. We have the Bouncing Bass. And we have the Velociraptor Beta car. So we are all set to hit the track to figure out which of these cars is going to be the one that is ultimately going to challenge the RD09 for fastest in fleet supremacy. And just in case this happens to be your first time watching an all about aerodynamics at the Track Live race, let me explain to you what you are about to see. You are going to see our 3-camera racetrack view. The cars are going to start at the top of the screen on the left in the launcher. I am going to give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, race. I'm going to hit the switch. The cars are going to come firing out of the launcher. They're going to go from top to bottom. They're going to pass out of the bottom of the screen on the left. They're going to show up at the top of the screen in the middle. They're going to go from top to bottom, pass out of that screen, show up at the top of the screen on the right. That is our finish line camera, and the cars will cross the finish line. The winning car will be indicated with a solid red light. A solid red light indicates the winning car. A flashing red light indicates the losing car. So, solid red light, you've won. Flashing red light, you've lost. The race is the best 2 out of 3. The cars switch lanes after each race, and the first car to reach 2 wins is moving on. Then, if a car happens to crash, which happens from time to time, if a car happens to crash and leaves the track, no worries, no problem. We simply throw out the results of that race, line the cars up again, and set them off. If the same car crashes twice consecutively, leaving the track, then that car is disqualified, because typically a car that crashes twice consecutively in exactly the same way, there's some problem with the combination of the car and the design and the launch it's getting that's not going to be resolved by just re-racing the cars. So you crash and leave the track twice in a row, you're done for the day. But if you crash and go on your side, go upside down, and remain on the track, well, then guess what? You just lost the race. So if your car crashes, what you want it to do is you want it to crash and leave the track so that the race gets restarted. You don't want sometimes we've had cars that go up on 2 wheels, kind of do a weird little wheelie thing, get back on the track, and then go. But they lose too much time. So if your car is going to do something funny, you want it to just crash. Completely, totally, utterly crash. And then that's that. So we have our cars all selected. We have our car. We are now ready to hit the track. So I will gather up these cars. I'm going to head over to the track, and we are going to see which car is going to come out on top today. So I will see you at the track in 30 seconds. Okay, let me just double check the audio. 1, 2. Yep, we are good. Line these cars up and see if our 1,000th car can make its mark, or if the current and existing champion is going to be the winner at the end of the day. We've got heavy cars, we've got a couple of small cars, we've got a truck, we've got an SUV, and you know what? Let's start off right there. We're going to go with the bouncing base against the Range Rover Velar. So let me check to see if the Range Rover is going to need a taller acrylic cover. It is not. Passes through, no issues. Let me check the other side. I want to make sure it's not. Yeah, it's definitely. The Range Rover is about as tall as a car can get on our track without needing to switch to the taller acrylic cover, which is great because I prefer when both cars can use the lower cover, because it's usually going to mean that they are going to get the best possible launch. They're not going to fly up into the air, and all things are more or less equal. All right, we are putting the Range Rover Velar in lane 1. The bouncing base is in lane 2. SUV versus pickup. If I can get the bouncing base to stay put, it's bouncing around in the launching channel. All right, bouncing base, lane 2. Range Rover Velar, lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Woo-hoo. Those cars are moving. We've got a fast track today. The bouncing base, as indicated by the solid red light and the fact that it crossed the finish line first, is the winner of race 1. And we're going to switch lanes and see if this Range Rover can even this thing up. We have, let's see, get these things set up here. Woo! All right. Hey, this thing, that's when you make, have to be careful when I set this, set these cars in, because don't want to get your finger caught. But this is a launcher that I designed to launch these cars out with force. We want speed, and we definitely get the speed. And that last race, that was a pretty quick pass for both of these cars. And now we've got the Range Rover in lane 2. We've got the bouncing base in lane 1. This is race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. I mean, this is a fast track. Either these two cars are really fast, or this is just a fast track. But you can see from the solid red light that the bouncing base took it. I thought the Range Rover had pulled it out, but from my perspective, I can only see that the cars were pretty even. But the solid red light indicates the bouncing base did its thing and took that race. That was a good one. I am trying to, on on YouTube, you're supposed to be putting up more shorts, and Instagram wants reels. And so what I'm trying to do, I just have to figure out a way to make it easier to do, more efficient, kind of create a workflow for it. But what I want to do is have a race of the week where I just highlight one of our races that was really close, really competitive, and a race like that one I think would qualify. So that is definitely a race of the week candidate. And hey, Roughshod, you took that chance. You went with the SUV, and it was actually fast. I think that bouncing base just might be just a fast car, and we are going to see. Let's see. It's time to get jolly old Saint Nick in the mix, and we are going to go with the Rockin Santa Sled is going to take on the John Force Peak funny car. Let me see if it's see. This is tough because I'm trying to see if the funny car is going to need the. Yeah, see, it just scrapes just a little. And that's bad because it's just barely scraping, but we can't have that because that if it scrapes the top of the acrylic cover. So for anyone who just happens to be wondering what I'm talking about and hasn't watched one of these races before, the launcher that I designed shoots the cars out with so much force that if we don't put an acrylic cover over the launcher, the cars will shoot up into the air, and that's no good. So the way to keep the cars, definitely to keep them on the track, is to have this little acrylic cover that I made, and you slide it over the top. So that way, any car that even begins to come out of the launcher and go up into the air hits that acrylic cover and then is immediately kind of forced back down onto the track, and then the race can continue. So that's what we want with this John Force car. It requires me to use a taller acrylic cover because of the back end of that car, and the little wings and the fins are just tall enough that I need to switch out the cover, and that's what I have to use. So in looking at this car, we are seeing that, yeah, that's how it's going to work. All right, so the John Force, I think I said John Peak again. The John Force Peak funny car is in lane number 2. Rockin Santa Sled back on the track after last week when I accidentally forgot to put Santa in the mix. Santa beat Grogu, and then I set him off to the side. But now he's back, ready to go, presuming I can get it to stay put. Here we go. All right, Santa, Rockin Santa Sled is in lane 1, and the John Force Peak funny car is in lane number 2. Race 1. Here we go. Three, 2, 1, race. What? The 54 gram John Force Peak funny car takes Santa out. Maybe Santa, that car, even without the tabs, maybe it's just not fast. That is a complete and total possibility. And let me see, just check something here on the back end of the track. All right. Always got to check the sensors on the finish line. Make sure that those don't get moved to the side one way or the other. All right. Flipping the acrylic cover around because now the cars are going to switch lanes, and the John Force Peak funny car is in lane number 1. This was car that I saw race at the one NHRA event that I've been to, and if you have never been, you should go. If you're into cars and racing and all that, you should go. The sound that these cars make when they take off from the line is like I've never heard anything like it. It's just wild. The speed, insane. So if you ever get a chance to see one of these races in person, you should check it out. All right, we've got the John Force NHRA Peak funny car in lane 1. We've got the Rockin Santa Sled in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Peak Force funny car slams into the barrier in true funny car fashion. We have to call out the safety safari, come and grab this car. All the drivers walked away. Santa clearly, I don't know, maybe he had a little bit of jet lag from all those Christmas deliveries. Maybe he had a little too much eggnog. Whatever the case may be, Santa is out, and this 54-gram funny car is in. So for the second week in a row, we have had a heavy car move on in the tournament. So the big boys are finally getting their shine. All right, we are going to go with this Dodge Viper against this Pagani Zonda Cinque, something. So let's see, is the Pagani going to need the taller acrylic cover? No, it is not. Great. So put that there. And we will get the Pagani Cinque lined up in lane 2. And we will put the Dodge Viper, Christopher's pick, in lane 1. This Dodge Viper is a really good-looking car. Question is, can it beat out the Pagani? This Pagani is tuned. I just think that windshield is going to be too much, and I look for this car to about the halfway point start to slow down and just get passed by the Viper. But we'll see. We never know. Here we go. Race number 1, Dodge Viper, lane 1, Pagani Zonda Cinque in lane 2. Three, two, one, race. Okay, so these cars are moving on this track today. That was pretty close. The Pagani just couldn't close that gap at the end, and that was the issue. It could not close that distance, but it was moving. And so I have to wonder if it didn't have that huge windshield, would it have been even faster? Would it have performed that much better? I don't know. What I do know is that Dodge Viper was moving. So we're switching lanes, putting the Pagani in lane 1. We are putting the Dodge Viper in lane 2, and we're going to see if we're going to need a third race or if the Viper is going to make it a clean sweep. Viper lane 2, Pagani lane 1, race 2, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. Whoa! Okay. The Viper, I don't know what got into that Viper or what didn't get into the Pagani, but that Viper was out like a shot and took that race with absolute total ease. And I like what I'm seeing from all of the cars today. That Pagani performance wasn't ideal, but I like the speed that I'm seeing. Sometimes you just happen to, I don't know, you just get a fast track. All right. So now let's take our 1000th car, the Flash, and see what it can do up against the Velociraptor Beta car. And is the Flash, I mean, with all the hype, it took a while to find the car, and I'm hoping that the Flash isn't a one and done situation here, because I would like for the 1000th car to be have a memorable run. And aside from that, just looking at the design of the car, I think it should do well. But this Velociraptor Beta car, it's very light, it's very small, it's metal on metal, it's got a low center of gravity. You never know with these cars. The small cars, usually the heavier cars I can kind of get an idea, although the Lamborghini and this John Force car have kind of rewritten the rules for the heavy cars. But usually with the heavy cars, we kind of know more or less what to expect. It's these other cars, these lighter, smaller cars, which are usually kind of like the question mark. What are they going to do? How are they going to line up? Will they stay straight on the track? Will they fly away? Who knows? All right, but we've got the Flash, our 1000th car in lane 2. We've got the Velociraptor Beta car in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. And the Flash explodes into the barrier and flips upside down. Technically, it's interesting because it left the track because it landed, as you can see, it landed right on the center barrier. So it left the track. So we're going to line these cars up again. And that Velociraptor Beta car, let me go grab that one. The Flash, that is not. So see, when I was talking about the back end of the car, and the Flash car having those 2 points of contact, it makes it a little more clear that race right there, that launch that the Flash car got, makes it clear why you want more surface area contacting the launching block than what the Flash car had. And that's why with the RD09, I'm always surprised that it gets such consistent launches, because it has a similar kind of design setup. All right, we've got these cars lined up again. The Flash is in lane 2, Velociraptor Beta in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Flash pulls it out at the absolute very end. The Flash car was losing. It was absolutely behind, but just like we were talking about earlier, with these lighter cars, they tend to slow down at the back end of the track. And I didn't think, like, you could see there was a little bit of a slowdown, but it looked like there was not going to be enough track for the Flash car to catch this Velociraptor car. But the Velociraptor car started to slow down, and the Flash car caught it right at the end. So it is a trend. It's something that we see happen all the time with cars that are light. And we'll see if that trend continues in this next race, or if this Velociraptor Beta car can pull out the win and move on. Let's get it lined up. It's a little tricky. It doesn't seem to want to stay put, but it was fast. It was fast out of the gate, which a lot of the lighter cars are, but it just, you can't really be in a position to be that light and think that you're not going to be impacted by drag on the back end. So let's see what happens now. We've got the Flash car in lane 1. We've got the Velociraptor Beta car in lane 2. Race 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Okay, and that time the Flash car didn't keep the race competitive. It just took off, won it, and that is it. Oh yeah, we're definitely going to see the Flash car in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, because this is a very unique car, but I think it's probably going to have one of the better aerodynamic profiles we've seen in a long time, just because there is nothing on the top. It's going to have one of those Formula Solar blitz speeder kind of profiles. All right, so we are down to the Dodge Viper, the John Peak, I keep saying that, the John Force Peak funny car, the Bouncing Bass, the Viper, and Flash car. We are going to go, let's go, we're going to go Viper versus Peak versus the John Force funny car, and get those lined up and see if this big, heavy John Force funny car can actually do, for the second week in a row, what the Lamborghini did, or do what the Lamborghini did, which is have a 54-gram car take 2 races in the tournament. All right, we've got the John Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 2. We have the Dodge Viper in lane 1. Race. Oh wait, did I have to? I gotta switch out that cover. I almost launched these cars off with the standard cover, forgetting that the John Force car needs this taller cover. So I have one, this kind of hybrid that I made that has one side tall and one side low. All right, now we're ready to go. John Force funny car in lane 2, the Dodge Viper in lane 1. Race number 1, here we go. 3, 2, 1, race. And the Viper spins out and crashes, but it left the track, so all that means is we will just reset and rerun these cars. That John Force funny car, it finished the race, but it definitely did not look as fast as it did that first time. But hey, we'll see what happens. Let's get these cars lined up again. Just checking to see if I think this thing may have bumped the camera a little bit, but I think we're good there. All right. Check this view out. Yeah, I think we're still good. Okay, let's get these cars lined up again. That Viper, I wasn't expecting it to crash, but don't really expect cars to crash. It's just something that happens. There's a lot of force, there's a lot of potential for cars to do something strange, out of the ordinary, get a weird launch. Anything can happen. Let's get these cars lined up again. All right, race 1, restart. We've got the Dodge Viper lane 1. We've got the Peak John Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 2. Race 1, restart. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The funny car, once again, takes the race, slams into the barricade at the end, bounces back just slightly, but it is moving on to race number 2 to see if it can go and move to the finals. I mean, these cars are really, because regardless of what happens, this funny car at 54 grams has already won one race, and it's taken a second. I'm sorry, that would be the third race that it's won, and if it wins this next one, it will be moving on and possibly becoming our fastest in fleet champion. But we're a long way from that point. It's still got to win another race at least. So we've got the John Force Peak Funny Car in lane 1. We have the Dodge Viper in lane 2, Christopher's pick. Both cars are lined up, ready to go. Race number 2, here we go. Three, two, one, race. Solid red light doesn't lie. The John Force Peak NHRA Funny Car has taken the race, and it is moving on. It is 54 grams of die-cast menace coming down the track. The John Force Funny Car with the huge racing slicks in the back and the little disc wheels that are smaller than the standard Hot Wheels disc wheels in the front has made it to the finals. Which car will it be facing in the finals? It will be either the Bouncing Bass or the Flash. So let's go ahead and let me swap this out, put the standard cover in. We will be using the hybrid cover for the finals. All right, Bouncing Bass and the Flash. Which of these two cars is going to come out on top and face the John Force Funny Car? It's funny because we've had regular Hot Wheels funny cars, the NHRA branded blah 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 Hot Wheels funny cars, and they've not done well. They've been terrible. We've never had a Hot Wheels funny car do well. But here we are with this huge, heavy John Force Peak NHRA funny car, and it gets the job done. So now, here's what we've got. We've got the Flash in lane 2. We've got the Bouncing Bass in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Flash was out. The Flash was absolutely out. And took that race with complete and total ease, and it's starting to look like a Flash Force situation. Flash Force, that's the matchup. Is that what we're going to get in the finals? I don't know. Bouncing Bass is going to have to step up to make sure that that doesn't happen, but you never know. Oh, well, no, the barrier's fine. It's just a memory foam thing, and it's actually not. It's not that it's that the barrier's like. There's two barriers. There's one that's solid, that's behind it. So, and then I put the memory foam there because the other one it's so solid that I was afraid the cars would kind of get damaged slamming into it. So I wanted something that had a little bit more of a cushion. So I put up and built a barrier that had memory foam in it. So the cars, most of the time, they just kind of bounce off, which is when you see some of the cars bounce back all the way to the start line. That's kind of the reason why, that memory foam. All right, we've got the Bouncing Bass in lane 2. We've got the Flash in lane 1. If the Flash can take it, it's moving on. And if Bouncing Bass can pull out the win, we will go to a third and final race. So here we go. Flash lane 1, Bouncing Bass lane 2, race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. Flash again, no question at all. That is setting up the Flash Force matchup. John Force versus the Flash. Who's coming out on top? We are going to find out right now if another heavy car can become our champion and take the tournament. If this happens, if this Force car wins, then it kind of rewrites the whole rule book on the size of the cars and which kind of cars do well on the track. And I think it will also mean that we have to acknowledge how much the aerodynamics of the car and the aerodynamic profile matter. Because there's if we just go with weight, I can pull out cars from the 80s, a lot of those gold Hot Ones cars that are heavy, but they're going to be slow, and they're going to slow down at the back end of the track because aerodynamically, they're just not, their aerodynamic profile is not as sound. But what we've got now is we've got heavy cars with great aerodynamic profiles that are doing well on the track. So there's something to it. But we'll see what happens now. We've got the John Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 2, and we've got the Flash, our 1000th car, in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Flash pulls it out. That didn't look to be the fastest race and pass for the funny car, but we will see. The Flash is our 1000th car. It made it to the finals. I specially selected this car to be the 1000th car to represent all about aerodynamics at the track live. So I don't typically pick cars, but in this case, I specifically picked the car. And my car is in the finals. But we are going to see if this John Force funny car can pull it out. And if it does, we are going to be in for a third and final race. If it does not, then that means that the Flash, the 1000th car, is our winner. And can I get the Flash car lined up? I can. Flash car in lane 2, John Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 1. This is race 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Flash takes it. The funny car represented very well, especially at that size and that weight. That still amazes me. I think we're going to have to bring back some of those old school 70s, 80s metal on metal cars just to be reminded how unusual it is for a car this heavy to do this well on the track. Typically, we see those heavy cars just slow down at the back end of the track and just get smoked. But that is not the case with the Lamborghini Veneno from last week or this Peak funny car. And now that I know that that series has plastic wheels, there will be more. So now we have the Flash, our 1000th car, is today's champion, and it now has the opportunity to become our fastest in fleet champion if it can take out the RD09. The RD09 from the Accelerator series has been our champion for the last 5 or 6 weeks, and we're going to see if that continues. Now, both of these cars have the pointed wings on the back. The RD09s are wider, so they kind of straddle the launching block, whereas the Flash is more narrow at the back end, so its points actually touch inside the launching blocks. But we have the Flash lined up in lane 2. We have the RDO9 in lane 1. The RDO9 is our fastest in fleet champion. The Flash car is our 1,000th car. And we're going to see which of these cars is going to come out on top. This is race 1. Flash lane 2, RDO9 lane 1, race 1. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. RDO9 says, I don't care if you're the 1,000th car. I don't care if you're the 1,000,000th car. I don't care if you're the first car. Whatever you are, I'm going to beat you. And the RDO9 takes that race from the Flash. And we are now looking at a situation where the Flash is going to have to take 2 races from the RDO9, which seems like it's going to be a tough thing to do because the RDO9 gets consistently good launches. It's got a great aerodynamic profile, and it really hasn't. I'm trying to think if the RDO9 has even lost a race, but we're going to find out here what's going on because the RDO9 is going to be lined up in lane 2, and the Flash car lined up in lane 1. Flash, lane 2. Got it. All right, we've got the Flash car in lane 2. We've got the RD09 in lane 1. Race number 2. Here we go. Three, two, one, race. The Flash car was moving. It was trying to close the gap. But the thing is, with the RDO9 doesn't slow down like some of the other cars with worse aerodynamic profiles. And that enables it to keep up its speed, and it kept up enough speed to take that race and remain our fastest in fleet champion. I'm going to gather up these cars, head back into the garage, take a look at the winners, the losers, what we saw, and I'll be back in just a minute. So the RD09 remains our fastest in fleet car. It takes out our 1,000th car, the Flash car, I want to say just the RD09 wins races with ease, and it is week in and week out. It's just beating whatever cars come along. And we've had cars that have looked good, cars that have been fast, and the RD09 has managed to knock those cars out. And it remains our fastest in fleet car. The back of the car, the setup is still kind of interesting. It's not kind of interesting. It is very interesting because, as I will show here, switch over. The RD09, if you can see how the wings, the points on the back of the car, it just barely touches the edge of the launching block, and right there, it's just barely touching the edge. So I was concerned that I didn't know what kind of launch this car was going to get. but the launches have been consistent. When we look at the flash car, and so this is kind of what I was talking about, the points on the flash car touch inside of the launching block, just a little bit, but just inside. Usually, you want that flat back end, but with the RD09, that is not what we've gotten. We've got this kind of Batmobile, these dual pointed wings at the back. But I think the thing that makes this car interesting is, and such a winning car, is what we see on Saturdays, on Wednesday, which is the aerodynamic profile of this car. When we put it in the wind tunnel, that air hits right at the front and just flows right up the body of the car. And even though this little engine in the back is kind of raised up, it doesn't do that much to disrupt that airflow coming over the top and then right off the back end. And I think that is what allowed this car to take these races, because it minimizes the impact of drag. And that's what you want to do. There's gravity, force, and drag. Gravity, the forces are gravity, friction, and drag that are operating against this car's forward momentum. And if you can reduce and minimize the impact of those forces, then you should have a shot. So this car definitely reduces the impact of drag, and as a result, it's able to maintain more of its speed. And because it can maintain more of its speed, it doesn't lose races at the end, like some of the other cars that we see like the Pagani. It slowed down at the back end and got passed. That doesn't happen with the RD09. So it minimizes drag, and then it gets consistent launches and stays pretty straight on the track. So that minimizes the friction that would occur if it was bouncing around from side to side. And then the weight, it's got a solid, I don't know if we weighed this one today. I believe this one's just outside the, so this is 38 grams. So it's close to the sweet spot, but it was able to take the race. And it didn't beat the flash car or 1000 car. It didn't beat it by a huge margin, but I think the flash car is also another one that when we put it in the wind tunnel, we're going to see a very clean, smooth aerodynamic profile with the airflow staying attached to the body right off the end. But the RD09 didn't give up ground at the end because it's got a good aerodynamic profile, and the flash car just couldn't catch it. It didn't have an opening to catch and pass that car. So that was great. Those were good races, a solid performance from our fastest, our 1000th car. But the surprise of the day, without question, absolutely 100%, is this car. It is the John Force Peak NHRA funny car. And this car, just like the Veneno from last week, which was metal on metal and weighed in at around 55 grams, this car came in at 54.5 grams, and I'm thinking, no way do we get a good performance from this car. I wasn't even sure that it would necessarily finish the race, which has been the case with some other funny cars. There's at least do I have it here? No. I guess it's actually in the fleet. I have some funny cars in the fleet that have not done well. Some old ones, some old 80s funny cars that have not done well because they've been too heavy and they slow down at the back end. This car has shown that, just like the Veneno, that if you have a heavy car, but it has a really good aerodynamic profile, that can mitigate the impact of what you're losing from the weight, by minimizing the drag more significantly. But it's just, it's interesting, these heavy cars, because we've had cars like this one, I think it's the Soul Air or something like that. It's metal on metal. It's heavy, and it seems to have a good aerodynamic profile, but it's nowhere near as fast as that John Force Peak funny car or the Veneno. We have had other, and that one's metal on plastic. This one is metal on metal, and it weighs in at 51 grams. So we have one that's 51 grams, metal on metal, appears to have a decent aerodynamic profile, but there's no way that it hangs with, it didn't perform as well. And in fact, I am going to, we're here, the track is there. We're going to go back to the track. I'm going to race these two, and we are going to just take a look at and see if there's a difference. If there's a difference in performance between these two cars, which are similar in weight. So let's jump back over to the track and get a little bonus race. Okay, here we go. We are going to go with the, I've got to swap out that acrylic cover. I'm just curious because these heavy cars, until the Veneno and until the, this John Force Peak NHRA funny car, we just haven't had heavy cars. We haven't had funny cars or heavy cars do well on the track. But here we are. And this car doesn't have the name on the bottom, so I forget what it's called, but it's metal on metal. It's 51 grams, so it's a little lighter. So in theory, I would go with the lighter car, but I don't know. So let's see. We've got the John Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 2, and this other metal on metal heavy Hot Wheels car in lane 1. Race 1, here we go. Three, two, one, race. All right. The Hot Wheels car blew the Force car out of the box, and I think I'm going to have to go back and rethink these heavy cars, these heavy metal on metal cars, because, in today's race, this John Force funny car, it did very well. And it was it beat out regular Hot Wheels cars. But then I put it up against another big, heavy Hot Wheels car, which in the past had done very poorly. And it just got blown out. So there's something, you can never really be certain. And that's the thing. That's why I tell the students we have to conduct the experiments, because you never know. Try this one more time. We've got the Force Peak NHRA funny car in lane 1, the metal on metal Hot Wheels car heavy in lane 2. 3, 2, 1, race. Race was a little closer, but as you can see from the solid red light, the heavy car took it. So we are now in a new era where heavy cars are having their moment. So let me go back in the garage and take a look at what we've got. So I think it may be time to start bringing back some of these older, heavier cars. The cars that I've said for a long time, because that's what the race results showed, that they do better on gravity tracks than they do on hot on our drag track. Turns out we've had some heavy cars doing well. And is that going to be a trend that continues? I don't know, but I think it's going to be time to bring back some of these heavier cars. I have to look up and see what car this is. I know we have one. There's another one in the fleet and in there that's named, but I just don't know the name, and it's not on the bottom of the car. But I think it's going to be time to start bringing back some of those old heavy cars and seeing if maybe we counted them out. Maybe there's something new, something, I don't know, maybe I don't know what it is or necessarily how to explain it yet. We have to conduct more experiments, and the experiments are the races. So that is what we do every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific. We're here racing cars, reviewing cars at the Track Live. If you would like more information about our science program all about aerodynamics, just visit our website, aaAerodynamics.com, or find us on Instagram, aaAerodynamics. And this is kind of what the program is. Learning the science, racing the cars, and then making observations and trying to understand the results that we saw based on the science that we have learned. So if you'd like more information, you know where to go. But if you want to see a little bit more about the aerodynamics of these cars, then join us every Wednesday, Wind Tunnel Wednesday at 4 p.m. on Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram. We take cars, put them into the wind tunnel, turn it on, and check out the aerodynamic profile, see how the air flows over, under, and around those cars, and get a pretty solid and decent idea about how we think those cars will perform. And then some cases where there are cars that we cracked open today, like the Flash car, like the John Force Peak NHRA funny car. We cracked those open today. They will be in the wind tunnel on Wednesday, and we will take a look and see how what we see in the wind tunnel matches up with what we saw today on the track. So that is what we do, and you are welcome to participate. We hit our 1,000th car today, which is kind of a big deal. We are coming to the end of the year, and I'd like to, thank everybody who's watching, people who have watched, people who have participated, Christopher, Roughshod, Virgo in particular, Never Ending, for making this fun and interesting. I would be doing this and racing Hot Wheels cars if nobody was here, and sometimes nobody's here. Sometimes people are here. People are watching after the fact. People send me messages asking questions about the races, about the cars, about different things, and it is it's just a lot of fun, and I'm going to keep doing it. We're up to 1,000 cars. I've got hundreds more in storage. Roughshod and Virgo actually sent me 2 cars, so those are on the way. So by the time we're up here next week, those cars may be here. So those cars will be in the mix, and I appreciate that. And just racing Hot Wheels cars, having fun, sprinkling in some science. And that is what All About Aerodynamics and At The Track Live is all about. So I hope everyone has a happy new year, that you join us and see what's in store. We've got more, trying to kind of build things up, but everything's kind of you try something out, see how it goes, and then try something else. But either way, every Saturday, 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll be here racing Hot Wheels cars. Go to AtTheTrack.live. Select the choose a car option. Scroll through, find your car, pick your car, participate, and have fun with us. So, for All About Aerodynamics, for Wind Tunnel Wednesdays, for At The Track Live, I am Coach James saying Happy New Year and see you in 2026 at the races.